everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so very glad that you clicked on today's video. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Olivia, and I'm so glad that you decided to join us. And as you can see by today's title, I want to talk to you about all the books I have been reading, as well as showing you my first ever Book of the Month box. I can't believe I'm saying it. I've honestly put off getting Book of the Month for probably like a year now. I would see it, but I just wasn't sold. I was never really into hardcovers. I was always a paperback girly. And then as you can see behind me, I have two of my favorite hardcover books behind me, The Measure by Nikki Erlich and None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And so I slowly started to collect my own hardcover collection of books, and I caved. And I think it was last week. Yeah, last week, because this is my March box. So yeah, last week or the week, 2 weeks ago, I decided to cave and get the subscription, and I'm really glad that I did. I cannot wait to show you that book. But yeah, that is what this little video is going to be about. So if you don't already have a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee like me, then you should grab one and stay tuned. It really would not be an Olivia video if I didn't have something to drink. I'm gonna enjoy this. It's so nice. Currently now in Michigan, it is like, I don't even know what the temperature, maybe around like 45 to 50 degrees, somewhere in there. It is completely cloudy, absolutely no sun. It rained all day yesterday. I mean, thunderstorm raining, and today it's just been cold. But what's been crazy really with Michigan is like, maybe a week ago, we were like 70-degree weather, hot sun, like 68, 66, and then we're going back down. I honestly don't know what's happening, but that's Michigan for you. So hopefully soon we'll finally get to like some consistent weather. But as I've been like in the house, a lot of things have kind of changed just in my personal life with my family. Just a lot has been going on. I've really leaned into my reading again. I can honestly say I don't want to say fell out of love with it, but definitely got into a major reading slump the last part of last year and then the beginning of this year. And it's been rough, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my love for reading just kind of came back, and I'm so happy that it did. And I've been reading like crazy. So far this year, I haven't finished so many books, but I'm in the middle of finishing so many books. I've kind of just picked up a book and grabbed another one and set a timer, 30 minutes on one, 30 minutes on the next, and just kind of do that as like a little time to just relax. And it's really helped me just fall in love with it again. I don't know, it takes the monotony out of it maybe from just reading one book at a time. And so I just grabbed like 5 books that I really have been wanting to read, set a timer, and just go through each one. 30 minutes, put it down, 30 minutes, put it down. And it just, it's helped so much, basically is what I'm trying to say. But I guess to start with the books that I've already completed this year that I want to talk to you about today, I have found a new favorite author, and her name is K.L. Slater. If you don't know about her, I highly recommend. I mean, I am into her 3rd book this year already. About 25% into that 3rd book. But she's phenomenal. She's a psych thriller author, and that is my favorite hands down genre that there is. Next would probably be historical fiction, and then just like regular fiction. And then I've read some fantasy, but psych thriller is just number one for me and will forever be number one. And she writes just these amazing thrillers where there are, first of all, so many different characters with so many different perspectives, and she leaves you wondering who it is until the very last chapter. And I love that. That is one of my favorite things, and I think that's really what makes a thriller, is that the twist and figuring out who's responsible and who did it lasts until the very end. When I feel like you figure out the twist and you have 25% of the book done, to me, it seems like the author should have just stopped it there. It's kind of my thought. And so I loved her book. So far from her, I've read The Marriage and The Husband and Wife, and I'm currently on The Missing. They are fantastic books. They're great. They just had me on the edge of my seat. I was so excited to be able to experience them, and it really helped me to dive back into my love of reading, and I'm really happy about that. Then to go into the physical books that I have right now in front of me, I read Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I have a whole YouTube video of that up on my channel that I can also link down below. I did a review on it. I love that book. That is in my top 10 books of all time. Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True is in there, and Behind Closed Doors. There are several others, can't think of them off the top of my head, but you guys, that was the best one of the best psych thrillers I've ever read. It was chilling. It was crazy, and I highly recommend it. So I thought, get more into B.A. Paris's books, and I picked up the Therapist on Libby and started it and didn't like it. I think just the narration wasn't my favorite. So I do plan in the future to possibly get a physical copy of that or rent from my library and read it. And then I also know she has The Breakdown, which I have not read yet, just a couple of books. But then I saw that she has Bring Me Back. So I picked this up from the library and I've started it. I'm about 20% done in the book. And it's pretty good so far. I can definitely say when you read Behind Closed Doors and then you dive into this one, you sense a difference. Obviously, they're both thrillers, but something about Behind Closed Doors, the husband and the wife, the husband is crazy. It's chilling. I mean, it has you from the first couple of pages where you're automatically noticing, oh, there's some battered woman syndrome in this book. Why is she referring to him like that? I thought that was her husband. Like, you can just see so clearly from the first couple of pages that this is going to be a good book. Whereas with this, it's interesting, but I don't feel like the main character in this book, I can't even remember his name. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but the main character in this book definitely is not grabbing my attention as much as the two other characters from that book. So we'll see if I like it. Hopefully I'll finish it. I have like 2.5 weeks left on my rental for this, and we'll see if I get it done. Then I decided to pick another book up for my library, but I also bought a physical copy because this is going to be in the top 10. Honestly now, maybe it'll be like 15. I have a lot of favorites, but in terms of psych thrillers, this is going to be in the top 10 of favorite psych thrillers I've ever read, and that is by one of my favorite authors, if not my favorite, Lisa Jewell, and that is Then She Was Gone. You guys, I am like 100 pages or so left in this book. I hopefully will finish it tonight. This is unbelievable. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know. It's like, it's just so good. Something about her writing, same with K.L. Slater, they are just so good at writing thrillers. For me, it just, I don't know what it does. I just absolutely love it. And so this one's basically following a family. There was a mom, dad, 3 children, and their youngest daughter disappeared. Then she was gone. And they really have no clue. 10 years have passed, and they were able to actually locate parts of her remains in the woods, and they have thus then buried them, but they still don't know what happened. The media is saying she ran away, but the parents know their daughter. Because of the loss of their daughter, the marriage has split, other children are estranged, and the family is trying to pick up the pieces and continue on with their personal lives. So the dad has met someone else, the mom has met someone else, but the person that she's met, Floyd, something about his youngest daughter is a little bit chilling for Laurel, which is the mother, and she's a little confused how closely it matches her daughter that has run away. The family's a little skeptical of him. Things he's saying and doing doesn't really add up. How is he so perfect? What happened to my daughter? I remember there was a tutor who was helping her with math, and all of a sudden she disappears. Like, what could be going on? And you're basically following the mom almost in this investigative journey to figure out what happened to her daughter. And she doesn't understand how in the center of the crazy she is. And so this is just phenomenal. I absolutely love it. It's going to be a 5-star read for me, hand down. And so when I got to like halfway point in this book, I had to grab a physical copy from Barnes & Noble to have for myself. But yeah, I love that. Then I have started James Patterson and J.D. Barker, The Noise. I am 50% in this book because I think in the back of it, there's like another story in the back. So I'm about 50% done in this book. This is really good too. It's actually coined as a horror and thriller. I've never read horror. I don't plan on reading any horror, but this was. I didn't know that going into it. I definitely went into it not knowing that James Patterson wrote that, but I think it's because J.D. Barker is in this book. And so because I had no idea, it's not horrific. I mean, it's horrific, but it's not scary, you know, where I feel like I can't read it. If that's what horror is all about, you know, I just love it. It's really good. It's basically following this town in Washington state, like near Salem. And there has been this anomaly, they're calling it, that has kind of taken place in this really secluded town of like 1,000 people who live out in the woods, super remote, have no connection to regular society, have their own little town in life. And there's been an anomaly. Something has happened and all the people are dead. The ground is completely obliterated. There are dead bodies everywhere. There are people who are now dead, who are fevering hundreds of degrees. There are people who are like cooking from the inside out. There are people who have this just change of mind. Like, it's a lot going on. And it's this anomaly that the government and these doctors and scientists that they've like kind of captured and brought to this location to figure out, have no clue. And now this anomaly is spreading further and further. It's happening in other towns surrounding. And it's basically, you're just following this group of, I think like 7 doctors with their different expertise, whether scientists, doctors, teachers, whatever they are. They're super intelligent in their field and they're trying to figure it out, in a way helping the government, but also feels like the government is hiding things from them. And so in a way, they're doing their like little private investigation, but people are dying and things are going wrong. And so I just find it to be very interesting because it reminds me of The Measure, which I read in the beginning of 2023, which is a fictional book, obviously, but definitely gives me nonfiction vibes. I thought it was perfect to have read in the beginning of 2023. Honestly, it would have been great to read in the beginning of 2020, 2021, 2022, like just the way and what it talks about. It's so realistic. And something about this book, it also gives me, not that this random, thing would happen in our time today, but just it lies so closely to like pandemic and catastrophes and things that go wrong, and just how the government responds and how people respond to it, and how it's such a lot of secrecy for many different reasons. And if finding this information is to really protect people, or is it to harbor the information as a weapon? So it's really interesting just to see how these 2 authors wrote this. And I'm really liking it. I can't wait to finish it. Then I decided to start a book by Lucy Foley. There we go. I bought 2 books from her from the Barnes & Noble. I've never read her books, but her books have multiple perspectives, and that's one of my favorite things in books. I literally love it so much. This had multiple perspectives in it. This had 2 different perspectives in it. This book has multiple perspectives. Its second book does. James Patterson book has multiple perspectives in it. And so I just love things like that, just to get each character's mind and how they're viewing the situation. It broadens and deepens the story for me. And so I'm currently reading The Paris Apartment by her, and it's really good so far. I'm about 20% or so into this one. It's good. It's basically following a man named Ben. He's living at this, really old-fashioned apartment building in Paris, and everyone hates him for a different reason. Each tenant in their own apartment hates him for whatever reason, I don't know. His sister is coming to visit. His sister's a little bit estranged. He was adopted out. He left her behind. I think he's like a stepsister. They're not very that close, but he's kind of cared about her. She cares about him. He always has to help her out. So she needs some place to crash and says she's coming. As she's on her way there, he's letting her know, just knock on the door. I'll open it for you. Someone comes in and does something crazy in this man's apartment, and he cannot be found. And so you're basically following his sister, investigating and figuring out what's going on within this apartment, talking to the different tenants here while they're all trying to keep their secrets and all hate him. And you don't know how. Like, how could a man disappear from an apartment, but nothing was seen anywhere else? It's really strange. So could he still be there? Could he still be going on inside the apartment? And she just has to find him in there. It's a lot. It's very interesting. And I look forward to diving more into that. And that's basically all of the books that I have read. I've read more, but that I want to talk about, at least in this video. Basically all psych thrillers, literally all psych thrillers. Yeah, I'm on a psych thriller train. Right now, I just love it. If you have any good recommendations, leave them down below. I don't know. I love how different they are, how interesting they are, how exciting they can be. And that's just really helped me dive back into just loving reading and having it as a part of my day-to-day. But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else that I'm really diving into. I have a couple of the Lisa Jewell books I want to get into this month, if I can finish the ones I'm in. Still in the middle of Harry Potter book 4, but kind of pulling back from like fantasy and middle grade and wanting just some more like meaty books. I was actually thinking of starting, there's a nonfiction book. I literally cannot remember who it's by. I can see the book now. I think I'm going to get it on Audible. I'll post a picture up here. But yes, I want to listen to that. I think it would just be really interesting to listen to her story and just kind of understand her background and where she's come from and what it was like for her. I also have Prince Harry's book that I think I want to get into. Definitely feeling like diving into things that are nonfiction, memoirs and things of people writing and telling their story. I really kind of want to dive into as well. And then also there is a book by, I can't remember her name, but Jane, she's the one with she lives with the apes or like works with them. I saw a book today at Second and Charles. It also looked really interesting called Hope or Understanding Hope. If I can find it, it'll be up here. But also that one looked really interesting. And so I think that's kind of like my plan, definitely diving into my favorite genre and then reading more, reading some nonfiction and even some historical fiction. Just that's kind of where I'm at. But when I got my book of the month box, obviously we had to go with my favorite genre, psych thriller. And so I will show you what I ended up getting. And I'm really excited about this book. It is completely new for me. Never heard of this author. And the story sounds amazing. And it is Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. First of all, it looks really nice. I was a little skeptical because people said the paper quality was really poor. But from what I can see, it's some thick paper. Like the font looks really nice. And you know me, if you've been here for a while, I struggle with the font and paper texture and weight of a book. If I don't like it, I won't read it. It's just, and I know that's horrible, but I legitimately judge books by their cover. Like that's just kind of something that I do. But this is really nice. And I'm excited to read it. But basically, this is about, it says, she will kill your worst enemy, and all you have to do is kill hers. One dark evening on New York City's Upper West Side, two strangers meet by chance. Over drinks, Amanda and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and the intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed their families. As they talk into the night, they come up with the perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone in her beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband, Scott. Alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband, Scott, is invaded. She's attacked by a man with piercing blue eyes who disappears into the night. Will Ruth ever be able to feel safe again while the blue-eyed stranger is still out there? And so that just sounds amazing. First of all, it's thrilling. You have these two women who are going to make a pact. I'm going to kill for you, you kill for me. Then we have a woman who's not even connected to this, who has an issue going on, who clearly has a man who's doing something wrong as well. What does that mean? And so this is just, I don't know. I'm living for it. I'm excited to read it. And then in the front, like right before the first chapter starts, there are a couple quotes that I thought were really nice. And this says, stronger than lovers' love is lovers' hate. Incurable in each, the wounds they make. Euripides. And so I just like how he found some very strong statements and quotes here that'll really shape what I can expect in the book. So I thought that was really nice. And the other one says, revenge, the sweetest morsel to the mouth that was ever cooked in hell, Walter Scott. And so I thought that's really cool that he sticks those in there. I like when authors start the book off with a quote because it kind of lets you know what their thought process is when they were trying to write this story, because 9 times out of 10, they found a quote, they had an idea, and then they wrote the book versus writing the book and all that, then finding a quote to match what they thought. You know what I mean? So it always starts with their initial findings. And so I'm super excited to read this. It looks really nice. You got the little, little emblem up there for book of the month. But yeah, super exciting. So yeah, those are the books currently. I don't know what I'm going to get into. Kill for Me, Kill for You by Stephen Kavanaugh. I don't think this month, unless I race through the rest of the books that I have, and then maybe I'll get into that one. But yeah, that's super exciting. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you some good suggestions. And again, if you have any psych thriller, nonfiction, historical fiction books, leave them down below. I would love to add more to my collection. And yeah, that's kind of going to conclude today's little video. What you can expect from Olivia, I really don't know. Possibly this month. I'm going to try to get a couple more videos out this month. We'll see how it goes. but a book review on one of the books that I'm possibly reading. I'd love to sit down and talk to them with you guys, maybe even a little reading vlog. But yeah, just kind of taking it chill, posting when it feels right, and talking about things that I enjoy. So if you like today's video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and hit your notification bell, that every single time I post, you can be notified. And subscribe to my YouTube channel and join the little family we have here. It's really nice and fun. Everyone's super sweet. Nothing crazy going on, but just the talks about books. And so if that's something that you're into, then I think you should come join the little family. And without further ado, I'll catch you all in my very next one. Bye.